Could you imagine the shift that you would see if we educated food science like we educated mathematics? It's just as important.
My question is, why the hell not?
Right. But could you imagine the shift? All of a sudden, families would, right now.
We might not have an obesity problem.
Yeah. But right now.
I mean, let's talk about it real. We might not have heart disease in the way we do right now. Now, I'm not saying people are all going to become I eat celery and I just eat carrots every day and I'm so healthy. That's not what I'm saying, but knowing is half the battle. You can choose to not do anything about it, but I'm telling you, when I've had probably, I'm not exaggerating, 7 college level classes that I taught. And in each class, these were classes of 30 to 40 kids, I had between 7 and 12. That's 25% of the class come to me and say, how do I get into this? Yeah. What do I do? Can you help me? Can you give me your card? Can you connect me? What do I do next? And I'm like, how do they not know this? And they're like, we never heard of food science. It's every single time. And it's so frustrating to me. Yeah. There's tons of jobs out there. And there's a whole group of the world waiting to know more about foods and how they're prepared and not knowing where your food comes from, all of those things. You ask people where an egg comes from, and they say the grocery store. It's no, okay, before that. And literally there's time, they just have no clue. It's not just developing foods. It's not just food safety. It's not just nutrition. It's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's just it's an understanding. You got to educate it in a way. I think if there's, what would create a giant change? The reason I use mathematics is you can go in and be a mathematician and you will learn proofs and you will be able to study in a way or execute as an engineer in a way that nobody can think of. That'd blow people's minds. And that's what food scientists do today. Food scientists understand food like that.
It's a great analogy.
Educated it, but mathematics at a fundamental level, if it were educated in that way to earlier generations, then it just becomes part of your everyday. You utilize it more.
Exactly.
I think that would be an exciting thing to see.
But I also think whoever decided we needed to force feed people calculus to the 3rd level, when you're I've never in my life probably ever used calculus again. Now, have I used algebra to every level and geometry? And yeah, okay, I'm not suggesting that we should get rid of math. My point is, who decided that level of math was so important, but yet we can't even talk about what food science is?
No, and learning about food is fun. That's the thing.
It is. People love it.
It is fun. You could make that would be the best class.
They love it. And it doesn't have to be just beer and wine. It could be, people love those types of learnings too, and how hops bring flavor to your IPA but every single thing you love about food has a very specific reason. It was put in there to do that. Or it was put in there and discovered that it imparts that characteristic or that. And it's like CSI for food, right? It's working backwards. So yeah, there's so much to talk about in the food science space. And I think early on when I did talk about food science, I didn't do it in a great way. And people took it as I was trying to preach, go into food science. I'm trying to convince you to take this major. And it really goes a lot deeper than that. It's more that I believe people can be better for themselves, for their families, for everything, if they know more.